Hi, everybody. Welcome back to HR After Dark. Welcome to season 2. I'm Marcia.
And I'm Meghan. And we've missed you. I know you've missed us. But how much did you miss me?
I can't even tell you. There's no words to describe how much I missed you around here.
I'm sensing some sarcasm.
But I keep telling myself it's only 3 months. It's only 3 months. And here we are again.
Here we are.
Yeah. And guess what? Did you tell everybody your good news? Your great news.
Yeah. So starting this week, we kicked off 2026 as in a new role. I'm officially the president of the O'Connor Group. Woo! And so that's been a great start to the year.
Yep.
And I'm excited to hit the ground running.
Oh, and running we are.
With you.
I am so excited about it too. And people keep saying, what are you going to be doing? I'm like, as if I'm going to be like, eating bonbons all day. But,
That sounds great.
I know, but
I think it's it's not a place without you. And so it's not a replacement of you either.
Well, I'm not going that far away.
Everyone keeps saying, where's she going? Where's she going? I'm like, she's not going anywhere.
I'm going to be like a creeper. I'm going to come out of
out of
a little plant. My head pops out. I disagree with that, and to be like, get back in there. And so
all the creeper memes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
But we had some great stuff. We started 57th Street Partners this year, which is our executive search arm. Mm-hmm. We had a great year. We passed our goals last year.
Yes, we did.
Which was really great. Last minute, but we passed it. That's all that matters.
New Year's Eve. And
then we also have a Shadow Her's going really well.
New executive director at Shadow Her.
New executive director. Kelly's really taken off. And so a lot of great things happening. And we're working on another business to pop into the 3 that we have. So why not ask for more?
Let's add one more in.
We are.
What's one more company?
I know. Well, yeah. But it's fun. We have a lot of fun here.
So much fun.
Yeah.
And so much in store for this year.
We have a lot in store for this year. It's a busy year.
It's going to be a busy year. It's going to be fun.
You're the horse.
Let's, and we're not drinking a cocktail today.
No, we're actually just doing boring seltzer. But
Cheers
it is dry January.
Dry January. No, damp January.
Yeah, but for you.
Yeah.
Well, I had one last night, I guess.
Yeah, that's damp. Yeah. I started the year, I'm like, I'm going to do dry January and be so healthy. And then like 3 days in, I was like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, it's just I can't do. I don't want to. It's not even I can't do. It's like I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to either.
There were just days and I'm like, I figure it's like my new thing. I love espresso martinis. And
that's new or?
Well, not really. But I like going to different places and trying their espresso martinis and seeing which ones are really good.
And I like a notebook.
I have a notebook. You guys gave me one for the holidays.
No, I mean like a little espresso martini tracker.
I'm just going to do my notes on my phone.
Have you had one better than the restaurant in Raleigh?
No, still the best one we ever had. Yeah, Meghan and I had to do we had to meet a client down there in Raleigh, and we went to this very unique Asian fusion, by the way, restaurant in Raleigh, and it was the best. We both still to this day think that was the best espresso martini we've ever had.
Yeah,
and it was divine.
Yeah,
so it was
I dream about it.
Yeah. I don't go that far.
Yeah.
But that's all. So it's all good.
All right, let's move from the booze conversation and move into HR.
HR reset. Here we go. Woo. It's 2026. Here we go. We are the worst. I'm not even drinking. Don't get me started over there, sister. All righty. I did miss you though.
I know, I missed you.
HR reset. What does that mean? I mean, is this the year for HR reset? What do you think?
I feel like we need to talk about what absolutely matters in HR and the most critical things that CEOs should be looking at.
Yep.
Without your CEO, what's the number one thing on your mind right now?
My mind this year is just hitting our goals, with the right people on the bus. Do I have the right people on the bus? Yeah. Are they staying this year? Is retention going to be that way? Is it going to open up out there? Because people have not been moving around because they're afraid because the unemployment rate, I think 4.6 now, is scaring people to leave their places. Yeah. And so because of that, do I have enough training for my team to keep them motivated, to keep them engaged? I mean, we have a lot of fun here, but consulting's tough. So my biggest thing as CEO is making sure that is my team getting what they need? Are they getting training and development? Are my clients getting what they need? Are things being put under the rug that I don't know about? That's going to be now your job, by the way.
I can't wait.
And just stuff like that. But you know how I love AI, especially Claude. I'm a Claude freak. And I did ask it the 5 key HR reset trends. And I just wanted to share a few of you with you guys today. One of them is AI transformation and strategic integration. Now, I think everybody talks about AI. I don't think they know enough about it to be experts in it. They all say they need it. They just don't know how. So an interesting stat is, however, only 5% of HR teams feel fully prepared to implement AI effectively, and 40% cite insufficient AI knowledge within HR as their biggest obstacle. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's not starting at the top then.
Yep.
Because the whole company has to be bought into an AI strategy, an AI policy. If you're just thinking about AI right now, you are so behind.
Yeah.
So the reason these HR teams are not prepared is because their overall business strategy doesn't include HR, or doesn't include AI, sorry. So I'm not surprised. I mean, thinking about our team specifically, we have implemented an AI training for everybody on the entire team, while also providing executives tools for them to utilize within internal projects and also external projects. But we had people who were beginners, never even went into ChatGPT, to optimizers, people who use it 100 times a day.
Yep.
Right? So how do we get everybody on the same page? How do we make everybody an expert? This training is going to be critical. And I think that so many more companies are going to need to move to that in order to keep their team going in the right direction.
Yeah, and that's just ChatGPT. That's the basic. And we're giving everybody an open AI account that's going to be underneath a company account. So it's a little bit more private and more confidential. But we're real excited about that. That's going to happen over the month of January with the team and seeing where they're at. But the idea is to get them much more comfortable using AI and how to make their current work process more efficient. So stay tuned for our episode in February, but we'll report back on how it's all going with that.
Yeah.
So very excited about that.
So when I asked you that first question, like, what are you thinking about as a leader, as a CEO? Mm-hmm. The first thing that I was looking at from a research perspective is leadership capability.
Yeah.
That all ties into that. Not the potential, not the titles.
Yep.
The ability to actually lead people. Mm-hmm. So much different than what a manager is. It's a leader.
Yes.
So how can companies, take some of these people who have never even managed a person and turn them into leaders? Is leadership learned? Is leadership skill? Like, what do you think?
I think it's a little bit of both. And, it's funny you mentioned that, because my top 5 trends here, number 5 was organizational restructuring and leadership pipeline concerns. And it was interesting. It said organizations are flattening structures by eliminating middle management layers, with 82% of boards and CEOs planning to reduce up to 20% of their workforces within the 3 years due to AI. And, the overarching theme for 2026 is balancing innovation with human-centered approaches. I do think you're going to see more layoffs, but I also think a lot of new jobs are going to come out of this as well. We just haven't seen them as much. We start seeing the layoffs. Like last year was a bad year for layoffs. I'm thinking I could see it already for January, some layoffs and all too. But I think it's really taking care of your talent. You have time to develop them right now. I do think we're going to have a problem with the younger managers coming through, because they're the ones that have been through COVID and they haven't had people. And that's all this remote stuff hasn't given them opportunity to have the water cooler talk.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually going to be a backfire on people going into the office and trying to be a manager. So a lot more training I see is needed to do and get them up to speed. A lot more.
I think with managers, not everybody wants to be a manager.
Nope.
People are in their job for 3 years and they say, okay, here's a promotion. You're a manager now, with no desire to want to lead people. Some people are completely content being individual contributors. So I think talking to your team and understanding what they want is the best starting point.
Oh,
Whether it's like a stay interview, or we talk about these all the time, like stay interviews, or understanding that has to be part of your HR strategy.
Oh, I agree. And when we talk so much about culture here, and so culture was number 4. Culture as a strategic differentiator. This is a great stat. Nearly all employees say workforce culture is important to their experience, but only 36%, which is so low, feel their company culture is well-defined and drives performance. And it's the consistency of maintaining that across teams when executives and entry-level employees have vastly different perceptions of cultural importance, but it's also hard if you don't see each other, and talk about the weekend and talk about things like that to make people feel like this is your home. These are your friends. These are your family. Some of my best friends to this day are ones I started work with 36 years ago. That's really aging me. But we still get together. We're getting together in a few weeks for a weekend away, and some of my best buddies. But we worked so much together. We all had the same majors. We all knew each other. We literally worked all the time together.
Yeah.
And that became really good friends in my life. And so I feel like a lot of the kids are missing that today. They don't have that. They don't have the happy hours we all went to. They don't have that community events. They don't have that. And so why stay at a company where you don't feel like you're part of the process?
Yeah, you want to be with people you like.
Yeah.
And you learn from, get challenged by. You created that here.
Yeah.
What can other CEOs do to make that culture exist?
Well, it was a priority for me. I wanted a place that people felt comfortable, and I really wanted a place that people felt like I can take Johnny to the doctors without having to be asked, without having that guilt feeling. I had a guilt feeling before in my last place. I didn't want a guilt feeling. And so that was a big priority for me. So it really depends upon what the CEO wants to get out of that company. I mean, I know they have their product and I know they can make money on it, but I do believe it's going to get harder and harder to basically hire the right people, because I don't know about you, but I don't see that chutzpah as much as I used to. And so that chutzpah, when I see somebody now, and I think that's why number 2 was skills first hiring and workforce redesign. Interesting stat again. According to research, 55% of employers have already begun moving to a skills-based model, and another 23% plan to within the next year. This represents a fundamental shift away from credentials and traditional resumes towards demonstrated capabilities. I'm hearing more and more, it's not so much about the resume, it's about the conversation and the relationship. And someone saying to me, hey, who do you know? I'm not going to post it. I'm going to get 5,000 resumes I don't want to look at. But I bet you if I keep talking to people about what I want, and here's the skills I'm looking for, I'm going to get people that fit that skill, and I'm going to basically teach them the rest.
Yeah. Quiet hiring.
Yep. Quiet hiring.
Especially at the executive level.
Yep.
Right? A lot of these
And
jobs
junior
are
level.
changing. And junior level, yeah. And I think, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah. So to me, I need to be out and about, and people say to me like, I don't know how you do it. You're everywhere. I said, I need to be. As a CEO, my number one priority is recruiting. I need to make sure that we always have the top level of individuals, because if I'm selling out to my clients, I better have that as my team.
Yeah.
And so it's really important that the people that would come on board here that really, GWC, EOS 101, baby, do you get it? Do you want it? Do they have the capacity? And if they don't fit all 3 of them, then they're not right fit for your company.
Yeah. What do you think about, we're going to see a shift in, obviously, like there's HR you talk about the culture and the water cooler talk and all the things that could potentially be missing with a hybrid workforce. But when a CEO wants ROI, profitability, all of that is that. That all equals that. Yep. How do you get to the next level to get a C-suite to understand the critical, I guess it's numbers and it's data probably. It's data. How do you get them to understand how important it is?
How you can save money, how you can save costs. I mean, everybody's talking about turnover, but also cost. What's costing the company? How can we be rethinking? How can we rethink our benefits?
Yeah.
How can we rethink basically salaries and pay? And, maybe they want more vacation and they want basically an increase in pay. I don't think a lot of increases are going to go out this year. I don't think a lot of bonuses were paid last year. And so people are being a little bit more creative and saying, hey, you know what? Maybe then if you just want to work 32 hours a week, go ahead. You know what I mean? I'm not going to give you an increase this year, but if you want to do that instead, then go for it and have more of an option. But I do think there's a lot of work to be done out there. I don't think we're ever going to go back to the 70-hour work week. All depends what company you work for.
Yeah.
But I do think that remote is still out there. Will it go away? I don't think it's going to go away, but I do see the gradual increase of returning back to the office.
Yeah.
And the big cities are starting with it first, and then the smaller cities are coming in. If in Philly right now, Philly's pretty crowded during the week and the weekend.
Yeah.
And so I think people are back, but I would say people still treasure their at-home experience as well.
Yep. Another critical shift that I think has been coming for a while is that everybody wants more clarity, communication, and transparency when it comes to numbers, their career path, what's next for them. I don't want to ruffle feathers and ask this question.
No, but remember during COVID, we had the 3 C's?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about it all the time because we had a lot of CEOs.
Communication, compassion, and clarity.
And clarity. Yeah, and it was the 3 C's, and we tell the CEOs it was 3 C's, like just be patient. This will all come together. We'll all know what to do. We'll know how to get there and all. It's the same thing now. We're just going through a change. And you know, like when you get a snow globe and you shake it up, kind of a deal. We're still in that shake up phase.
Yeah.
And what's happening is the snow is starting to like level out now a little bit more than like COVID was constantly shaking. The shaking stopped, but we're still basically having little pieces in the air.
Yeah.
And so now we're coming back down and figuring out how this is all going to work.
Yeah.
But I do think we're not quite done with remote, but I do think within 10 years, you're going to see a lot less remote than you do today.
So you have to have multiple ways of communicating to your team.
Yep.
I love our director of HR is putting together a brochure for our team that shows all the ways we communicate.
Yep.
And where you should go. Obviously, it's like a how-to guide for TOC. I love that because everybody needs something different.
Yeah.
Right? People want Teams. People want texts.
Always.
People know not to email me during the day. I'm not gonna text me. So I think that is great. But I also think there's a transparency component.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to numbers and goals. What's their accountability look like? What are their expectations?
Yeah.
So I think the more transparency you can provide, the better retention your business. I know, I shouldn't say I think. I know the more transparent you are, the better your retention's going to be.
But we're pretty transparent here.
Oh, yeah.
I would say not all of our CEO clients like to be there. They're very private. They're the owner. They can be. It's a private company. I just believe in the EOS model, and this is now my 10th year using it, and I do believe communication. But listen, Meghan, we communicate. We have a newsletter. We do videos. We do town hall. And what's the number one thing we still hear that we don't do enough of? We don't communicate.
Yeah, again. I know.
So to me, I said, I think that's just going to be the staple answer for a lot of places. Like, we don't communicate enough. I'm like, listen, we send it all out. It is there. It is all over the place. And if you're not listening to those videos, and by the way, some of them don't, I do a read receipt and they don't always listen. So I'm like, that's your own fault. I had it all on there. But the idea is to make sure we communicate. And we are doing that. But I think people are so busy. So it's like making excuses. I'm like, oh, I didn't listen to it. I'm like, oh, I know. But I did communicate and trying to make sure that you're on top of that. You know, it's okay. You know, because you have about 90% who are just really in on it and get it. And there's always going to be a 10%. Every company you talk to is probably that 10% that they like the job, but are they really do the GWC? Probably not. You know, but they're still doing the work. It's just they're not mentally in on it. That's all. That's okay.
With all the ways of working, with thinking about, you know, we talked about being hybrid, we talked about culture.
Yep.
I think this is a huge opportunity for HR right now.
Huge.
To move from being a check the box value person to an advisor.
Yes.
This is the time to do it.
And be strategic and think about how that company makes money. Why is it so important to understand the operations? How is it basically everybody that you're doing is you actually are saving that company money. And I tell people with really good HR, it's like glue. And if that glue isn't working well, you're spending way more money than you should out there. And it's not HR's fault about retention. It's the CEO's fault. Yeah. You know, because if they didn't set the guidelines down, that's their problem, not HR. HR helps with everything, but that's not why they're there.
Yeah.
You know, HR can do so many great things out there, and unfortunately, they have a stipulation of like very tactical. They do tactical too, but they can do so much more if you give them the opportunity.
How does an HR professional move from that mindset?
You know, I think it's just basically not having to fear. You know, because I think everybody has told them to sit into like a little corner sometimes and put your head down. I think it's just having that no fear of saying, I can do more, I can do better, let me show you how I can do it, and not be afraid of the word no, and getting out there and being comfortable in what you can bring to the table and show them why. Don't just say, I can do better, show them why. You know, come together, if you want a promotion, show them why. You know, put together like a 3-page summary of like, this is what I've done this past year. This is what I think I can do. This is the next role. So I know I can fit it because I can add value to this and this and this. It takes time to do it. If you really want to move ahead, you got to work for it.
Yeah, I agree. What else is on your list?
That was it. I only asked 5. I could have asked 10, but that would take another half a day. And so it was really just going to be, number one, came down to the AI. Number two was the skills first hiring. Number three was return to office tension and workplace flexibility. Listen to this one. This is a great stat.
Yeah.
While 59% of workers are in the office full time, which is 59%, that's really high.
Is that nationwide? Is that
Nationwide.
Is that across yeah.
Only 19% are happy about it. And a quarter would prefer to be fully remote. But think about that. In the next 10 years, if you start off being in the office, and you're not home much, you don't know any better.
I know.
And so it's really interesting. So that 19% is going to probably, increase a higher amount of people being happy about it because that's what they're used to. We didn't know any better before COVID. It was more like you just go to the office every day. Yeah. But now it's changed and we're used to it. So we're so hard to fighting to keep it. You know what I mean? But I do believe there's a lot of magic and a lot of emails that don't have to take place if you have that constant communication with people.
Yeah. And then you have boundaries.
Yeah.
We talked about boundaries a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
When it comes to the way that people work and what people are doing outside, like how do you get it all done once you're used to being outside the house or you're used to being hybrid? Yep. And, it just blends together. You have to make it a blend.
Yeah.
Because
make it work.
Yeah.
I personally think doing both is hard because I like getting into a routine and getting out, moving it forward. But as you and I are out about meeting people all the time, it is hard to keep up with emails. It is hard to be like, people say, I'm not going to check anything the next morning. I'm like, that's great. You can do that. Yeah. But business won't come in if we don't do what we do.
Yeah.
And so, excuse me. But I really do believe that we have to make sure that we understand that boundaries are our own because we're going to get burnt out.
Yeah.
And that's a scary part for me.
I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but do you have any resolutions?
Resolution? I don't. I think my resolution for this year is it's called contagious happiness. I think if I could be out there and just like do 3 nice things a day and tell somebody 3 nice things and be just contagious of happiness, I think it's spreading that out there is going to help other people because nobody wants to be around a Debbie Downer. And I also think it's just better for my own health. Mm-hmm. My body's much happier when I'm happy. And so I'm making it an intentional happiness this year for myself to be out there because I think it's really important. Every meeting and being like, how you doing? What's going on? And start it off with just being happy because Debbie Downers just don't work for me.
No.
How about yourself?
Oh, gosh. One specific thing, this is a personal one.
Ooh. Once
a week, I'm going to do something that makes life easier with my family life. For example,
there we go.
This is like silly. Okay, this week I'm going to clean out the linen closet on a Sunday afternoon or something. Something that is going to get me ahead to never feel behind.
Great.
We've run all week.
Yep.
Kids sports, networking events at night, whatever it's going to be. How do I not feel like the end of a month I'm behind in everything?
Love that idea.
One day a week or one small thing a week to better ourselves.
Huge accomplishment.
Yep.
It's great.
And
love that idea.
Yeah. And then professionally, I got a bucket list for my new job.
Yep. So you'll be very busy, but I'm glad you're doing that because I know you too, that you're like me in regards to I got it. And it's a lot, so rely on your team a lot. I'm relying on you guys this year, but rely on your team a lot too to get things done because you're going to need them.
Yeah.
We can't do it all ourselves.
We have the best team. We're so lucky.
We do. We just had a great December. That was so much fun we had. And then it's back to work to development. It's let's move it, guys. Here we go.
Here we go. Back like we never left.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, you left. We felt it.
I was like, is it time to come back?
So, we're so excited to have you. We're excited for the year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a great year. I think it's a great time to reset. In our next episode, we're talking about an HR playbook and how we can provide tactical things that our listeners can put into place.
I can't wait. I have some great ideas behind all that. I'm looking forward to it. And guys, get ready for a really fun year. We're going to have a lot of fun with this, going back and forth. We've got some great guests lined up this year as well. So thanks for being with us. Don't forget to like us out there. And thanks for letting us know. I get great text messages from a lot of you saying, hey, this is really fun. I love listening to your podcast. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to do that. And we look forward to hearing from you out there. So again, I'm Marcia.
And I'm Megan, and we will catch you next time.
Take care.